All right, so the last thing that I want to show you on here is how you create a new team. So what you'll do on here is you'll go back to your Teams page. Now, how I got here was I was inside of Plans, and I was inside of the last plan that I was a part of, which was this one. I clicked on this sprocket here, and it took me to the Quincy 48th Street Children's Ministry service type teams. Now in here, I can see the settings for the Quincy 48th Street service type. And this in here, it shows you how often it occurs. The frequency is weekly. The folder it's in is the crossing. Attachment types, disabled, so don't worry about that. Item note categories, this would be useful for worship and tech, but not really useful for other ministry areas. Plan note categories is the same thing. Over here, this means that item comments is when hovering over items in the service order, you can click the comment bubbles and discuss that item with people who are subscribed. This option sets the minimum permission needed in order to comment on plan items. So if you want the people inside of your plan to be able to comment on items inside of it, then this is how you determine who gets to see that. If you only want people who are editors or above, which would essentially be staff members or a volunteer functioning like a staff member, you would want to select editor. But if you want to create opportunities for people to be able to talk back and forth about plan items, then you would leave it as schedule viewers. Public view, this is going to be anything that anybody who's not assigned to a particular, so this is public viewing for anyone to share it outside of Plan Center without requiring a login, and it's used when you share it to Facebook. If you want to hide this stuff, then you would want to uncheck it. I don't personally know of us sharing our information on any of these things, but I do know that occasionally people will share stuff on Facebook. And so you would just want to make sure that if there was anything that you wanted to be hidden, like any kind of headers or anything like that, for the most part, this doesn't really need to be touched, but I just wanted you to have the information. Again, this is where you would see the teams associated with this particular service type. Whoops, I clicked on that one. This is going to be the templates of that service type. So again, this is where you can go to create a template that will give you the number of items, the number of teams, and the notes that you need for those particular areas. And then we looked at this briefly. This is your reports tab. So this is giving me a report on all of the actors in the Children's 48th Street area. And I can select how long ago I want it to pull. But this is showing you from August that people who are listed as actors, here's all the people who have been listed as an actor since August. And then this shows you the number of times that they've confirmed, the number of times that they have been left unconfirmed, and any times they have declined. And then this shows you when those dates were. Now, if we were to pull small group leaders, I imagine this would look a little different. Okay, here's what's cool. So this is your list of all of the people in small group leaders who have served since August 9th and 12th, so in the last 3 months. Like I said before, you can take it up here and you can, oh, this is actually actors and small group leaders. So you can select all three. I just want it to pull small group leaders. So I can say in the last 3 months, this is going to show you how you get 43.3% confirmed, 44.8% unconfirmed, and declined is 11.9%. See that you've had a total of 67 people scheduled in that 3-month period, and you have one new person that's been scheduled in that 3-month period. Let me take a look at this and say since 3 months ago. That's not showing me these particular dates, but if I were to go into them, I could see them. Now, if we look at these individuals, it looks like they were scheduled for, and the thing about small group leaders, especially at 48th Street, is that most of them are scheduled every week. So you're seeing these unconfirmed on all of them because he was scheduled for each of those weeks. He just hadn't responded. Here's what's cool, though, is it shows you had one new person inside of that, and that was Chris Quinn. Chris Quinn was a new person who started serving. And these are the future dates that he's been scheduled for. You can also see songs and service length inside of this. So this is going to show you how long your service is on average. If you want to get really detailed, you can record your live length. No one is currently using that function right now, but if you wanted to include that, you could. All right, so let's go back into teams because that's what we were going to work on. So here are the teams that are inside of Quincy 48th Street Children's Ministry. Let's say we know that children's ministry is being proactive about creating an environment that's exciting for kids to come into. So that doesn't really fall into actors, storyteller, or small group leaders. So let's say we were going to create a team that's the kids host team. And that's going to be people who help check them in. It's going to be people who are kind of the hype people out front that are their greeters. If you have children's ministry greeters, that would be a really great place to put them. Now, I'm going to use this as a template. I'm not going to save it in theirs. But let's say this is going to be the children's ministry, children's host team. Now, here is where I can set the different parts of this team. Again, I go into settings. I can make it a split team. I want to make sure that I've created all of these things like we talked about before. And here's where I can add people to positions. I know that I need it to be I need to have this team available for 9 a.m., 10:45, and Thursdays at 6 p.m. I haven't assigned any team leaders, but let's say I know Johnny Doll was out there today, so I would make him the team leader there. And I want him to get notifications about people accepting and declining. And I also want him to know when people have blocked out dates that they're unavailable to serve. Now, here's where we would add the positions that are going to be required for this particular team. So let's say check-in host. And then I know that they also have people out at their tent. So let's say they have wagon. There's people that pull the red wagons. So I would have them be wagon greeters. You would probably want to name them something better than that. I could add the position of mobile check-in if I want someone on the mobile check-in. And then I know that, like I said before, we're working on having people be more exciting as they come in. So if you wanted to have like your hype people, you could have whatever that team name is going to be. You have your hype people. So now I've added these 4 positions available for people on the children's host team. This is where I would go in and add people to this. Now you'll notice this is jumping around this little green line. It just shows you which one's selected. So today, for example, I know that Carson Freeze and Johnny Doll and Morgan Hollensteiner were the people who were all out there. So I could add Carson directly to this. I could also add, if I wanted to add, let's do Quincy 48. Let's see what I have when I pull up children's. This is searching for tags, and most of them, let's do check-in. Let's look for Quincy 48th Street host team mobile check-in. Hey, great. I know that there is a position for that. So if I wanted to move everybody from that position here, then I would do that. You just look for Quincy 48th Street. Let's see. This is inside small group leaders. So I want to move them here. Let's say I'm adding them. Now there's 3 people. Tasha, Jen, and Wes, who we added earlier. Now I can assign all 3 of these people to be mobile check-in operators inside of my children's host team. Like I said before, this is all pretend, so I'm not going to actually add anybody in there. But once you've done that, you will see the team in the same way that we've seen these other teams. So let's hop back over here and see our other teams here. Now, you see that there's no members of this team. There's 1 leader. There's 4 positions that have been created. It's a split team, but it hasn't ever been scheduled. So that's how you create a team inside of this. Now, if I wanted to add children's host team to my template, all I'd have to do is come over here, use my weekend service template, and say, I know that every weekend I want there to be people who serve in this capacity. So now I've got my children's host team on here. Let's say I need to have at least 2 check-in hosts, 2 hype people, and 1 wagon greeter on Sundays at 9 a.m. I know that I need 4 check-in hosts and 2 hype people and 1 person on mobile check-in and 4 wagon greeters. And on Thursdays are a little lighter, so I need to have 1 check-in host, 2 hype people, 1 mobile check-in, and 1 wagon greeter. Now I've added this to my template, and it's going to automate that to every time I use this weekend service template to schedule a plan. So let's go back to the team function, to the team screen. So this is our templates, teams, settings, and reports. So that gives you a really, really clear picture of what it's like to create a team, what kind of settings you're going to want to know beforehand, and how you automate people inside of those areas.